Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Shri Subhadra Jai Satata Shishima His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Shri Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki Acharya Haridas Thakur ki Prince Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivasri Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Govindana Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govindana ki Jai Shri Harinamanda ki Jai Shri Mahaprabhu ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai Ganga Maya ki Jai Jamuna Maya ki Jai Bhaktivedanta ki Jai Tulsi Maharani ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi O glorious citizen devotees O glorious citizen devotees O glorious citizen devotees O glorious Shri Guru and Ranga Gosha Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, text number 40.
40.
Dyotanam Pachanam Panam
Dyotanam Pachanam Panam
Adanam Himamadanam
Adanam Himamadanam
Tejasa Vittayastveta
Tejasa Vittayastveta
Shoshanam Shudridevacha
Shoshanam Shudridevacha
Dyotanam Pachanam Panam
Dyotanam Pachanam Panam
Adanam Himamadanam
Adanam Himamadanam
Tejasa Vittayastveta
Tejasa Vittayastveta
Shoshanam Shudridevacha
Shoshanam Shudridevacha
Dyotanam Pachanam Panam
Dyotanam Pachanam Panam
Adanam Himamadanam
Adanam Himamadanam
Tejasa Vittayastveta
Tejasa Vittayastveta
Shoshanam Shudridevacha
Shoshanam Shudridevacha Dayatanam Panchanam Panam Dayatanam Panchanam Panam Adanam Himamardanam Tejasa Vrittyastueta Shashanam Shudridevacha
Dyotanam Pachanam Panam
Dyotanam Pachanam Panam
Himamadanam
Adanam Himamardanam
Tejasa Vittayastveta
Tejasa Vittayastveta
Shoshanam Shudridevacha
Shoshanam Shudridevacha
Mataji's
Dayatanam Pachanam Panam Adanam Himamadanam Tejasa Vittayastveta Shoshanam Shudridevacha Dayatanam Pachanam Panam Adanam Himamadanam Tejasa Vittayastveta Shoshanam Shudridevacha
word for word. Dyotanam,
Dyotanam
illumination. Pachanam,
Pachanam
cooking, digestion.
Cooking
Panam,
Panam
drinking.
Drinking
Adanam,
Adanam
eating.
Eating
Himamadanam, destroying cold.
Destroying cold
Tejasa, Vitayaha, functions. Tu, indeed. Yataha, these. Shoshanam, evaporating. Shrut, hunger. Trit, thirst. Eva, also. Cha, and. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Fire is appreciated by its light and by its ability to cook, to digest, to destroy cold, to evaporate, and give rise to hunger, thirst, eating, and drinking. Purport. The first symptoms of fire are distribution of light and heat, and the existence of fire is also perceived in the stomach. Without fire, we cannot digest what we eat. Without digestion, there is no hunger and thirst, or power to eat and drink. When there is insufficient hunger and thirst, it is understood that there is a shortage of fire within the stomach, and the Ayurvedic treatment is performed in connection with the fire element, Agni Madhyam. Since fire is increased by the secretion of bile, the treatment is to increase bile secretion. The Ayurvedic treatment thus corroborates the statements in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. The characteristics of fire in subduing the influence of cold is known to everyone. Severe cold can always be counteracted by fire. Om Gyanadimadannasya Gyanarajna Shalakyalam Chakshumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Vanchakappatarubhascha Kripasindhuvevacha Patitanam Bhavebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasri Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The verse again. Fire is appreciated by its light and by its ability to cook, to digest, to destroy cold, to evaporate, and give rise to hunger, thirst, eating, and drinking. Hare Krishna. So, this is the part of the Bhagavatam where Kapila is explaining Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means to count. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga is explained as one who goes through all the elements of the material cosmic manifestation and breaks it down and tries to find the root of all existence. When he finds the root, he waters that root or serves Vishnu, which is the root of all existence. The process of Bhakti Yoga, one just goes directly to the root and serves or waters the root of all existence by serving Krishna. So this Sankhya Yoga talks about 23 or 24 elements, starting with the 5 gross elements, fire, earth, air, ether, water, and air. The 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego. The 5 working senses and the 5 knowledge acquiring senses. So that's 18 altogether. And then the 5 sense objects, the sense of touch, hearing, smell, taste, sight, and hearing. So that's 23. So the total aggregate is the Mahatattva, that's the 24th element. So it's argued there is a 25th element, either it's the soul or the super soul. So why break everything up? You can see through this chapter that everything is broken down and the characteristics of each element that's presented, the sense organ or the sense object or the different working senses. Why would, and the subtle elements like the false ego and its different modes, or intelligence or mind. So why does it all break up? At the end of the chapter, Kapila presents the the Virat Rupa, or the cosmic being, and its different body parts as a kind of like a metaphor, so one can picture how this universe is constructed. And the different presiding deities of each element, of each sense organ, of each sense object tries to enter in this cosmic being, but it doesn't awaken. It doesn't become activated. It only becomes activated only when the super soul enters. So what does that mean to us? Anything that you see in this material world consisting of this 23 or 24 elements is useless. It's dead, unless it's in touch with the super soul, with Krishna. That's the point. So anything that we value in life, anything that we uphold, for example, fire. We go past Crown Casino, and starting at 6 o'clock, you'll see these big pillars, and they start erupting with fire. And then all the tourists, like, I remember when they first built the Crown Casino as a kid, and everyone in Melbourne would rush to, just to see these flames explode. And then, and like you feel the heat, you're like, oh no, it's like an explosion or something. But now everyone in Melbourne doesn't care. It's just a few tourists that, it's like some explosion, maybe it's a terrorist attack or something. So you can see how we look at the material world, the different elements, such as fire, can create wonder or awe for us, or an inspiration that, yes, this place is very nice, I should stay here. So Prabhupada in the purple points out first symptoms of fire, that it gives distribution of light and heat. This connection to Krishna is pointed out in the 10th chapter, that Krishna is the light of the sun and the moon, and he sends heat. So what does that got to do with us? We use fire in so many ways. We use the sun in so many ways. Most people in summer, you'll see on St. Kilda Beach, the sun is out, so let me get my tan. Right, so they just lie there, and that's the enjoyment, that's the best it gets. It's pretty boring, actually. Most get sunburned, many people get skin cancer. This is the result of them just trying to enjoy the element alone. But how does the devotee see the sun, or the summertime? It's pointed out in the Brahma Samhita that the sun is one of the eyes of Krishna. So, Krishna is watching you. He's looking out for you. So straight away, there's a sense of security in life. Straight away, there's a sense of everything is okay. Everything else can crumble in your world. Your relationships will break down. Your possessions get taken away, or they don't work properly. So one stresses out, one becomes frustrated. But one can just look at the sun and say, wait a minute, the sun's still in the sky. The sun is still watching over me. Krishna is still watching over me. I'll be okay. That's what happens when you remember Krishna. Through every tribulation, you'll be taken care of. So, a lot in this purpose talked about how if you don't have enough fire, then you can't digest anything. And I get on this Melbourne temple, travel around the world, many temples we've been to. And there's not so much prasad being pumped out in one temple than in Melbourne temple. So the fire digestion is very important to devotees here. You may sit at a Vyasa Puja feast, or you may sit at some festival feast, and like each prayer comes along, and you want that prayer, but there's no room left. So one prays to Krishna, who's the fire digestion. Please, allow me to honor this extra prasad that's come along. There's like 20 prayers. Please, digest a bit more so I can digest, And Prabhupada in the purport of establishing the importance of fire is that even people who are materialists, working with steel and different materials, they must use fire to build it, to make a product to sell, to make their profits. If you want to cook anything, even if it's meat, you need fire. So these different things, this is all given by Krishna. These elements get their potency because of Krishna. And then like you're full, like you take one feast after another, you finish the feast and then the next person comes, rice, want some rice? No. But in the beginning you had so much hunger, you're like, yeah, rice, sabji, gulab jamun, sandesh. Give it all. The hunger creates that extra enjoyment for us when it comes to honoring Krishna. In the spiritual world, there is no hunger. So how do they eat? When do they eat? So usually what happens, they're having so much fun in their pastimes, playing in Vrindavan, Krishna with the coward boys. So they get so immersed. So the demon must come and break up the party. Say for example, Aghasura will come in and the coward boys say, whoa, what is this big giant cave? It's reaching the sky, we gotta go in. No, I think it's a giant snake. Anyway, let's go in. You know, Krishna will protect us, let's go in. Krishna starts, oh no, my friends are gonna get eaten by this giant snake. We must do something. But Aghasura, he didn't close, he was waiting for Krishna. Because he killed the sister. Why don't you kill my sister? I'll take him out. Krishna walks in. And he's like, oh no, my friends must have died. Closes up. He starts expanding more and more and more. And he had this, was it Anima or Lagima? This expansion city? Lagima. Yeah, so he could, Aghasura had this city, but obviously Krishna is Yogeshwara, the source of all mystic city. Fully expanded, he exploded, he lost his life. Saved the coward boys, and Aghasura's body just became a playground afterwards. Because there was a demon now, all of a sudden, it's not like they get hungry, then they want to eat. When it's time to relish food or prasada, then the hunger comes on its own. Then, because it's time to eat, alright, then we get hungry. So you can relish the prasada. So that would be nice also. Just like Madhumanga, he cursed. They went to steal butter from one of the gopis, and they snuck into the place. And there was a small window for escape. The gopis, the other gopis came and like, oh, don't get out of here, you steal our butter. So they all escaped through the window, but Madhumanga is a bit bigger. And then he got stuck in the window and then whacking him with a stick like this. And then somehow they saved him. But then Krishna goes, oh no, this is a big offense to a Brahmana. This is very bad, because Madhumanga is a Brahmana friend. This is very bad. You're all unauspiciousness on you. You must make up, you must atone for such an offense. So what's the atonement? You will make up for it. We don't want to offend the Brahmanas. Okay. You must feed Madhumanga 1 million loaves. And Madhumanga ate them all. So this is when we have this the giving rise to eating and drinking. When it's in connection with Krishna, it becomes a festival actually. Anything we do, we connect to Krishna, becomes a festival. Absolutely. Rasaham Apsukunteya. I'm the taste and water. All of a sudden, okay, Krishna's here. Especially after Kirtan. You're dancing hard, you're sweating it out. Your legs are paining, you're like, oh, that was so good, it's so amazing. Your throat is paining from screaming so loud the holy name. And you're like, yeah, alright, water comes, yes. And then straight away you can easily remember Krishna. Yes, Krishna is so kind to quench the thirst. And especially when it comes to taking, like we do dancing, chanting, and feasting. If you just do feasting, you can't do it so much later because your digestion doesn't stay hot. If you do a lot of dancing and chanting, you can have heaps of prasada, no problem. You know, you always find that after kirtan you're really hungry and you get into it again. And then to help with digestion you go out on Harinam. Usually that's what we do. And usually if you have heaps of prashad you're like super intoxicated. And then you go out on the street and people are like, what are these guys on? I want some of that. Because you're just in a good mood. Like we went to someone's house in the Gold Coast and we came and we were very, like, because not very close relationship, so very manners and orderly and, you know, behaving properly. Then after, you know, a few, like 10 or 20 puris with sabji and, you know, so many nice sabjis, then a mango banana lassi, she's really thick, nice, tasty one. And then ice cream. All of a sudden, we're loud, we're like yelling at each other, we're laughing, just intoxicated on Krishna's mercy. So, the point is to always connect whatever we do in our life to Krishna. And that makes the festival. That's why this ritual is a festival, because everything's about Krishna. Everything's about the pleasure of Krishna. Just like we look at the deity, it's a festival for the eyes. There's nothing more to see. Just like if you hear kirtan, you can hear it from a distance. Before, we spent 10 days in the Gold Coast. And they have this thing called schoolies. Have you heard of schoolies? If not, it's all the high school students that finish school. Right? So they're finished, the exam's done. So there's time to party. So they go to the Gold Coast and they go to a place called Surfers Paradise. The word is called Sufferers Parasites. So there, it's pretty much geared towards sense gratification. These kids, the way they're going to enjoy is just drink something, smoke something, you know, meet up a girl, meet up a boy, do something with them, and, you know, that's it. But most of them have a really bad time. So much frustration takes it, because there's so much high hopes for having a good time. Anyway, me, Sabi Sachi, he's in the back, he's from South Africa, and Doya Mora from Soho Street, he does the London Harinams there. So we try to hit him up. So the problem is that no one's out during the day so much. They start at night. So we started Harinam at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So we didn't know what to expect. I was a big skeptic. I was like, no, I don't want to deal with these schoolies. They're going to be drunk, they're going to be messy. These girls are going to be half naked, dancing all over us, or trying to do something. No, that's not, yeah, inside us, but alright, we're here, let's do something. So we go over there, and they just come running. They go, this is where the party's at. They come running. And then they just start dancing. So the problem is with us, it's like we're used to doing like a single beat. And then like for a little bit you do double time. And then you bring it back. You know, some they go away and then you have time to relax, you bring it back to the single beat. They didn't go away. And more just kept coming. You can see them because there's like one main strip where all the restaurants are, and they're running from one side because they see the way the party's happening, and they're running here, and they're like, yeah, like this. And they want to sing too, so they can't really get the mantra down. So then Swami Sachi comes up to me and goes, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And then the boys go, yeah, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So they've got, like, you know, it really, for us it was ecstasy. Like, they're really calling out for Krishna now, you know, that point in time. And Krishna hears them right there on the spot. Lord Chaitanya mercy, Gauri Nitai, they just showered mercy on them. So we had to do that from like 7 to like 10:30, 11 o'clock every night, 10 nights straight. So, yeah, and at the end of every night, our throats were finished, couldn't even speak, couldn't even sing like that. We were destroyed, you know, and like bang that drum, he comes up, oh, you gotta dance, you know, because you gotta keep that tempo because they're on that level of like, alright, we want intensity, we want intense party. So one nice experience from it, there was many, but there was too many. But one that stood out a lot was, we had one devotee from the Gold Coast, Harinamananda Guru. He was distributing books at the same time. So he would just see who's like sober enough to take a book. And he picked, he was random, picking a few boys here and there, a few girls. On the first night actually, there was like a group of girls and one boy. And we had some mantra cards, they got their mantra down, like, alright, cool, you know. And then Harinamananda takes the boy away, gives him science and self-realization. He finds out later he was sober. And then what he does, he just sits in the middle of the kirtan. Everyone's dancing around him, and he's reading Prabhupada's books. He's like that. Yeah. And everyone's dancing around him. He was yeah, it was classic. And another, oh yeah, again, the born-again Christians were there. If you know born-again Christians, they're very fanatical preachers. So the first altercation was that one guy, like, because we had like one section and behind us was a bench. So he stand up on the bench behind us. The kids were dancing behind us on the bench. So he would stand up there too. He goes, this is abomination to God. You know, hell and fire awaits you. You're going to hell. And the kids are like, what are you doing? Having a good time? Why are you doing this? They were water places. Yeah, my voice is still gone from the whole thing. Two other boys. So one night, and they got into the kirtan, they got Chen to be happy. And he must have been from Lebanese or Turkish background. So I remember seeing him, but it looked like he was on ecstasy or something, or I was thinking maybe he won't take it seriously. So he actually read the book that night. And then they came running for us. They didn't want to go to the nightclubs. They came for us, we were the nightclub for them. And we were the real party, they came for them. And then they had mantra cards, and they just came there to dance and chat, and they stayed there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, until we were done, really. And Harinamananda did an interview with one of them, and in like a typical Aussie ethnic, first generation ethnic poem, it's like, I read the Holy Krishna book, and I see a new world now. I see a world of peace, happiness, and joyfulness, and that's what the Krishna means to me. And it was real, it was like from his heart, it was like sincere. And he had like a few friends, so the friends stuck around for it. He had another friend, we didn't know they were friends, there was like another person who was just like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. And he wouldn't stop, he just kept going. So on our final night, he just followed us all the way to like where we parked the car. And we got his details, and he was like, I never felt like this ever in my life, you know? Like, we even had the video put up on Facebook. He shared on his own page, and he put something like, what, the beginning or best moment of my life, or something like that. And, yeah, the kids went crazy on the selfies. Like, you know, you make a selfie video. So there was always, like, a kid who's always come across and go, everyone's thinking, what kind of video is they making? But anyway, it's got the holy name in there. And Dalmore, he's been getting some really cool tunes happening. But sometimes they don't get the complete mantra. But there's one tune he sings is good. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. go, oh, yeah. They wrote this song. So that's the schoolies trip, right? Everyone. So this is the way we go back to Godhead. Ooh. Yeah. That was cool, yeah. And you can't do that in a temple room. Because I'm getting away with that. You can't do this stuff in the temple room. These guys are like, with cigarettes in their hands, they're dressed up in the most scandalous way. You never let them into the temple, but you bring the temple to them. Kali Yuga, the temple's on the street. Lord Chaitanya's temple. This is the Sankirtan movement. When you always remember Krishna, you bring Krishna with you through the holy name. That's what Lord Chaitanya did. These mantras that the smarter Brahmanas try to stop the Sankirtan movement, because Lord Chaitanya was giving the mantras to everyone. And it was actually the Hindu smarter Brahmanas, they were upset about it. They tried to stop the Sankirtan movement. It wasn't the Muslims. They incited the Chankasi, stop this person. And this is the most auspicious activity in the universe, Shukadeva Goswami says. And this is the best way to always remember Krishna and never forget him. The holy name is Krishna himself. You have no idea how powerful it is. It's changing everyone. I'll give one more story. In Japan, Tokyo. So Tokyo, everyone sort of is like super focused on their job. And you try and give them a book, not they're straight, they'll walk past you. So anyway, we did a Harinam. It was like everyone finishing work, and it was at a train station, and a few books went out. So one person got a book and a flyer for the temple for the Sunday program. So I just randomly walk out the temple and I see one guy with a skateboard, and he has some bag with him. And he goes, oh, this is, he showed me the flyer. I go, yeah, this is it. But he spoke Japanese. It's like, konbanwa, dozo yoroshiku. Watashi wa yogi sensei. Nama wa Harinamananda desu. Kibu onegashimasu. So he was looking for the temple. So I tried to explain as best I could in English that actually there was initiation going on. Kavi Chandra Maharaj, who preaches in Japan, was initiating one Mataji there. And I go, okay, what's happening? There's initiation, so there'll be like a fire, people sitting around. So just trying to prepare him for the temple, because it's a completely different atmosphere. So I look in his bag, there's a 6-pack of beer. And he goes, I can come in. Okay, yeah, just leave your skateboard here. You can leave the bag here. And he's like, okay, cool. Took off his shoes, went in. And then, he came to sit down. And I called one of the local Japanese Matajis. Can you please speak to him? He goes, okay, sure. He sat down a little bit. She spoke to him, and then he walked out again. And I asked this, her name was Yamuna. I go, what happened? Why did he leave? He goes, oh, he said he wanted to drink beer. I go, oh. Alright, so she told him, alright, you drink beer, but you come back for Prashadam. Alright, cool. So he's out there, he drank a couple of beers, came back in. Completely changed. I don't know, he just became loosened up. So he came in, he bowed down, took his hat off, and then he sat with the yoga, and the Kavicharma gives the beats. Okay, your name is now Harinamananda Dasi. That was a bit shy. the same name too. Everyone, Harimo, like this. So then she goes around getting Guru Dakshin, getting donations for the Guru. So different devotees are putting money in there. And then he's like, oh, of course, yeah. He put a few thousand yen in there. And then he goes to the front, he pays respects to Kavi Chandra Maharaj, he bows to Prabhupada, bows to these, he prays. Just change like that. And then this time to set up Prashad, he starts moving the tables, helping out. And then he has Prashad, he goes, yes, very good, this is nice. And then he goes out, drinks a couple more beers. And the Lama's like, why are you drinking this beer? He's like, oh, right, it's okay. And then he starts like, where is the toilet? And we show him where the toilet is. But he's been there a long time though. There's a line and people waiting to get in. His name was Rio. And so I got to know, Rio, everything okay? Yeah. I open up. He's cleaning the toilet. He's cleaning the bathrooms. Like this. And then with the feast was finished, it was time to go for Harina. I go, hey, we're going for Harina. He has 2 more beers and he comes on Harina. So that person you would have let in the temple, you know. You straight away would cut him off. But if someone has that small spark, small inclination, and like there's something to work with, we can do that. But the most easiest and fine way to work with someone is just put the holy name in the air. The ears are always open, and you can put unlimited sound in there. It doesn't get filled up. Like Prasadam, you want more filled. You know? Even a lecture, it gets, you know, the knees start to hurt, the head starts, the eyes get a bit. Yeah. Sorry. Different aspects of the devotional service. You see the deities, to actually look, you need to be super advanced. But the holy name, no qualification required. Everyone's free to accept. The holy name is too powerful. The whole atmosphere changed. You do Harina through the street, whoever walks on the street after this change. And even in my own example, I remember seeing Hare Krishnas. I was like 10 years old in the city. And I saw these Hare Krishnas. And I was thinking, these guys are useless. They're not helping anyone. No, really, they're not helping anyone. They're just some white people trying to be Hindu. They just like smoke ganja or something like that. And then they do this thing in the street. Useless. That's what I thought. Look what happened. I did the same thing all over the world. So it works. We have to put that holy name out there as much as possible. And the thing which will convince them to continue chanting is Srila Prabhupada's books. Right now it's a book marathon. These books, because again, when I had that impression, I still had the impression of the Harinam, but only until I read Prabhupada's books, I had only real appreciation for Harinam Sankirtan. And that's what the purpose of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is. Every verse is glorifying the holy name. From beginning to end, you see even the last verse, it's purely about Harinam Sankirtan. And Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, in the introduction or in the preface, it says it's the urge of the soul. It's Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Nityam Bhagavat Sevya. So that Nityam Bhagavat Sevya is explained by Srila Prabhupada in his class on the prayers of Queen Kunti, saying that Nityam Bhagavat Sevya means that one is always hearing, is associated with the book Bhagavat by hearing or reading, and the person Bhagavat by serving the instructions of the spiritual master. That's Nityam Bhagavat Sevya. That's satisfying the urges of the soul. When we are on the bodily concept of life, trying to serve the urges of the mind's demands, speech, the belly, genitals, and the tongue, trying to satisfy these urges. But if you just satisfy the urge of the soul, we're constantly associated with Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And the life of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, as sketched out by Lord Chaitanya, that's the introduction. That's the life of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. He did the chanting, dancing, and feasting. That's the life of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So we should follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Any comments or questions? Ooh. Anyone? Oh, yes, something.
What happened with the Christian person? You were
Oh,
in
yes.
the
Yes, it so did. Sure did. It was it really sparked us up a bit, because, when you do preaching, you're making an effect when Maya sends opposition. So we got more fired up. So we got a bigger speaker, and we got a djembe, and we called more devotees. But but they still kept coming. But the thing is, there was no hope for them. Like one guy, it was kind of like they were just sahajas. So one guy came in the middle of the kirtan, and he just stands there like this. I was thinking maybe he's from Kirtan Mela. They do the same, right? They do the same. So yeah, he got purified. There was another random guy. He would carry a camera to attract kids, because they see a big, it looks like TV camera, And then he'll shoot them. He goes, Jesus on the way, Jesus on the only way. And they go, Krishna, Krishna. There was one more lady. She was the best. She had the little pamphlet. Jesus! Jesus! And the tears were coming out there. Jesus! So I took one. She's still going, Jesus! I took another one. And she's still going. We're rocking this kirtan. Rocking like this. She's like, and I said I took 2 already. And she was good. But they only could last a few days with us. We were all solid in 10 nights in a row. And many kids, they just got a high taste. Because they were doing they had this thing in Service Paradise where you do parigram of all the nightclubs there. And you have your parigram leader, and you have to follow him. You go in one nightclub, this is that place. This movie star came here, and then, next place you could. So they had different groups going around like that. So one kid, he left the parigram, and he came and joined us. He goes, this is better than in there. And we caught one of these parigram groups. There's 200 kids with them. And they were crossing the road, and we're on the other side of the road. And they just came to us, and they wouldn't leave. Yeah! And then we break up the mantras, Hare Krishna, yelling, and then they'll yell it to the top of their voice, the holy name. 200 kids, and they're on high energy. It was the best experience. I'm definitely doing it next year, so you're welcome to join us next year, or even today. We had a nice Harinam yesterday, also. The break dancers. So, the breakers, they're in front of Gopals, this checkerboard. Yeah. So we knew them when they started, when they were in the teens, 13, 14. We used to do Harinam with them. There's some video on YouTube where, I'm doing the Macarena with them. From my songs. So these kids were there that time, and they just started. So now they're the baddest, the coolest breakdance team in Melbourne City. So they remembered us. And we come in, and then Keshavacharya is leading, and he's breaking down the mantra, and the other guy had a microphone and speak to. He's like, oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then he went into ecstasy or something. I don't know. He's like, Hare. And then he was on the floor. And I go, Kesha, what did you do? But I remember Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Rita when Sarup, when Gopakumar, he made it to the spiritual world. And then he was a cowboy boy, Sarup. And he saw Krishna, Krishna saw him. And he's like, oh, my friend, Sarup, like this. And then Krishna fainted. And then all the cowboys, oh, who's this cowboy? Maybe he's a demon or something. But no, he's a cousin. He hasn't seen him for a long time. So he told Swarup, okay, Krishna, just chant, Swarup, you chant in his ear. So I remember this. I told Kesha, chant in his ear. And then he goes, Hare Krishna. And it's like, slowly waking up, Hare Krishna. And by the end of the month, she was up again. And then the breakers got into it like that, and they're like, wow, it's been a long time, I haven't seen you in ages. So yeah, they're devotees. They just break dance, that's all. Break dancers can be devotees too. Don't discriminate. Is that okay? Any other comments or questions?
When you visit to different country, how do you overcome this language barrier?
You chant Hare Krishna. Yeah, it works everywhere. Yeah, music is an international language, you know. And then you have the language of the soul, which is the Maha Mantra, and then everyone likes to sing and dance. Easy. Even the Muslims get into it. You know, they clap like this.
You're in Muslim country as well?
No, I haven't been in the Muslim country, but the Muslim country people come to us in the tourist places. Yeah, like from Saudi Arabia. Like in London, there's many Saudis, they come there. Right? Or in any tourist place, so many people like, from these Middle Eastern countries. And they can totally identify with it. I don't know how or why, but they do. You know? So yeah, Melbourne is quite a touristy place, so you can actually get out these Arabic books. If you can get a hold of them. I think you have Farsis, right? For the Iranians. So yeah, you can catch everyone. And these books will just, convince people that this is not just sentimental, it's real stuff. Really things. Yeah. So this is how we'll spread this movement, by having a festival all the time. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīmad Prabhupada ki jai, Harinamananda ki jai. Go to Brahmanande!
Harinamananda ki jai.
Prabhupada ki